Fuck yeah, motherfuckers. That was Tommy Stewart's Dyerwulf right there with Shadow in the fucking Well, man. Brand new fucking track from the upcoming fucking record, dude. Let's call him up right the fuck now and see what the fuck is going on in his world, man. See what the fuck is going on, man. What's up, Tommy? Hey, man, I can hear myself in the background.
Making sure you hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, dude. You can.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to turn this off and answer my phone. This is crazy.
Yeah, you can pause it now. So what's going on, dude? Hello? Hello? Oh, shit. He fucking turned off everything, man.
All right, we're good. We're good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, dude. Tommy, what the fuck is going on, man?
Well, I'm having fun with because, okay, I tried to answer you. I'm sitting in my studio. And I'm trying to answer you on the thing. I'm still hearing the past. I'm turning this thing off. Okay, all right. I didn't just hang up on you, did I?
No, I got you.
Oh, okay, good. I just turned it off where I can't hear it. I don't know what's going on out there now. I'm just reading. Okay, yeah, that was... So anyway, studio shenanigans.
Yeah, dude. So we were just blasting fucking Tommy Stewart's Dyerwulf.
I appreciate it.
Man, Shadow in the Well, dude. That's a badass fucking track, dude.
Man, thanks. I have had some good compliments about it that I've really appreciated online and on YouTube, and someone left a remark of, now this is how it's done or something like that. And one of my favorite things about it is there's a couple reviews because we're in pre-sale right now, but they kind of wait till the release to really do more of those. Mm-hmm. But a couple of them lately said something funny. They said it's a great guitar sound. There's no guitar on it.
There isn't.
No, it's all bass. It's a two-piece band. When you come see us live, it's just me singing and playing bass, and another in my cohort playing drums, and that's it. That's all bass, drums, and vocals. And also, somebody said something about the B3 Hammond. That's a bass.
That is fucking cool, dude. I didn't even know
That's all
that.
basses. That's like 8 tracks of basses.
God damn, 8 tracks?
Yeah, I just now was showing somebody else about it. They said, well, how many tracks do you use for bass? And I was sharing with another engineer, and I showed him that particular track, and he said, holy crap, what do you do with all that? And I said, it's just layers of different, same thing I do live. I play through different cabinets and different amps, so I've got 4 different amps going, and they're all set close to each other, but slightly different than each other, and so it comes out with this huge full tone sound by using 10s, 12s, and 15s and whatever.
That's cool, man.
When they allow me to set it up, if I have a kind of an emergency, like quick one, if they're wanting us to get off and on the stage, then I've got a little smaller setup I can throw up and everything. But if you really want to hear it good, that's the whole thing. Yeah, if I've got the whole thing up there, it's 2,600 watts too.
God damn. Yeah, man.
I know. I'm not using 26. I'm only using like up to a quarter of it. Again, probably 500 watts worth of it is actually being thrown out there. But you have to have all the different stuff out there in order to get all those different tones to be at the same time.
Hell yeah, dude. Kind of like Typo Negative, even though they did have a guitar, but like you could hear the bass over everything, man. It was just...
Yeah, when I started this, my theory and the way I told the drummers who are playing me, I said, look, the way I'm seeing this is there's drums, there's vocals to say the lyrics, and then there's this tunnel of noise. And I said, it doesn't have to have guitars and trumpets. And I said, all I need is this one tunnel of noise. This one singular. I said, I need 3 things to make this. And I explained, this is sort of a minimalism experiment to see, like, how could we come across, and then we'll have to improve it and experiment over time to get it down. But we can. I think it can be done if we keep it to the point.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I mean,
and I think that was the thing. So I've been saying it's minimalism, but it's actually the instruments that are there that we're using are like overblown. So there's layers of vocals and layers of bass and extra percussion and all this. And I said it's minimalism in the fact that there's only two of us doing it, but other than that, it's not minimalism.
that is cool, man. We used to joke about that shit a lot when I was a kid, man. Like, we just talk about, what if there was a band, just fucking nothing but bass guitar, like no fucking guitar, just bass.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Well, part of it also is because it just got to be, check this out. So how convenient is it? I always liked the idea. I always liked to be in three-piece bands. I liked having less people because it was less variable. It's about going to practice and everybody showing up and just riding in a van and feeding everybody, and just think it's just me and the other guy, and we don't take anybody with us either. So it's literally me and the other guy in an SUV pulling a small trailer with all our equipment in it. So when we go on the road, it's like, hey, you hungry? Yeah, sure. Next loves. And that's all there is to it. There's no debate or big peanut. There's no big
it's cheaper
galaxy to talk to. It's awesome. It's just thinking. I mean, it's just so easy. We load in, there it is. Load out, there it is. Where is there's well, where is so and so? Well, there's only one other guy. He's over there, and that's it. So it's awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
You got to like each other though, because there's only the other guy.
Right. Well,
yeah, it's really important to get along. And we were playing at the place in Houston. The promoter there even was talking to me and remarked, he said, you two don't talk much, do you? And I said, well, we talk all day. So when we get somewhere, he kind of does whatever he's doing and I do whatever I'm doing. We don't really talk to each other except in passing. Hey, did you see that light? Yeah, it's over there in the corner or something like that. We really don't talk to each other in venues because we've already said everything for 8 hours,
Right.
It's funny. But Shadow in the Well is definitely one of my favorite songs I've ever written.
Man.
Do you want to hear I love telling what it's about.
Yeah, dude, tell us, man.
Okay. Now in the South here, we have in my age group, we have these creepy, your great grandparents told you a lot of weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And mine were in the country. I'm a city guy, and I grew up in Atlanta, and I'm a city guy. But in the summers, I would go stay at great grandparents' houses in the country. And this particular one lived in a shotgun shack, just like on TV. And there's just one room, and one big room. And in the back, there's a wash basin that you wash your face in the morning. There's no shower. You go outside, there's an outhouse with bees in it, and that's where you do your business. And there was a well, and one of the things she's told me all kinds of crazy stories, that there's a big toe living in the fireplace in the chimney, and you don't want to go near the chimney because it'll get you. A big toe. I remember even back then just thinking that's just weird. Even if you're trying to keep me away from the fireplace, that's just a weird thing to come up with.
A toe.
But another thing about the pants that walk down the road by themselves at night, so don't go down the dirt road. And and so anyway, she had this other thing she said, and I grew up and looked some of this stuff up. The well thing is actually a common thing. She said if you look into the well and you can see the water, if you can see the water, you throw a little rock in it, and you'll see the ripples, and then the images of the ripples, you'll see your future. And I went, that's just stuck with me. That was so cool, I thought. And one time I went over to do it, and I got kind of all bristled up, and I felt like Pumpkinhead was in the woods behind me, and whatever, I didn't know. It just felt like there was a presence. I decided not to do it. I just kind of went, nah, and I walked away. I didn't want to see what was in the well. But so anyway, that's what Shadow in the Well is. I wrote describing me walking over the well and then feeling a presence and then deciding not to look into it.
That is a cool story, dude.
Yeah, grandmas can be creepy if they want to be. And it was funny because she was super Christian religious. But she had all these country, what would you call them? Country stories. I don't know. Folk stories.
Yeah, folklore.
Things. Yeah. she had a lot of that, and I remembered a lot of it because it was interesting. So anyway, that's what Shadow in the Well is about, and that's the first single and video release from the new Tommy Stewart's Dyerwulf album and it's called Doomsday Deferred. I like saying it because there's a lot of D's going on. Doomsday Deferred. I learned how to spell deferred, just to say.
So
I did it wrong like the first 30 times that I've written it down. I got to learn to spell this if I'm going to call it that.
So I got to ask you, man, how did you go from Hollow's Eve to what you're doing now, man?
You know, I get that a lot, and it never occurred to me that it would be odd for anyone to think about it, but because I always did have the ideas of the music I'm doing, but I just wasn't able to be doing them while I was doing that. And you can hear some of those ideas creeping in here and there when you hear something like a little unusual in Hallows Eve, and you got that sets it a little different than most thrash. And those were some of those ideas creeping out. But you know, when you're playing with a group, you've got these check mates. You got these checks by the other members, and they go, that won't work. Oh, don't do that. Put piano in there. Are you out of your mind? You know. So later, when some time went by, and in the 2000s, I put together a couple of different lineups of Hallows Eve and around, played the music, and even got the original singer back for about 5 shows, Stacy. But during that time, I was kind of sitting on some ideas and some stuff. But finally, it was 2013. I had spent a couple years off where I had to do a bunch of family stuff after that. 2013, I officially stopped Hallows Eve and started Bloody Gyres, which I said, okay, this is going to be me doing not thrash. Whatever it becomes, it's going to be not thrash. Just because I want to do other stuff in my life. Mm-hmm. And I always thought it was weird. I love certain bands that I'm a huge fan of, that they stick to their guns and stay kind of the same music. But also, one of my complaints about them is if you got 2 or 3 of the best albums, you kind of got everything. And I said, I got more to say than just those couple of thrash albums. So I wanted to change and, do some other things, and explore other avenues,
Yeah, for sure.
So I got there and did Bloody Gyres, which was a tad progressive. There was some time changes, and it was dual guitars. That was not my idea, to have 2 guitars. As you can imagine, I actually fought that. And it ended up being one of the best things about the band. And I went, well, I got to admit, it is pretty good. So then I went on and did Negative Wall, which was a little side project while I was still doing Tommy Stewart's Dyerwulf. And Negative Wall was a sci-fi, little sci-fi side project. I don't know what you call it. Maybe stoner, kind of doom. I don't know. It was whatever it was. And then, but Tommy Stewart's Dyerwulf, yeah, I've been working on this for a while. But I have to work on it between things because I have the label. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times what I'm doing the label with other people ends up taking over my time. So I have to kind of back off of making my own album. Here comes 2020, and all of a sudden everybody stops. And I go, now I can start really making my album. I'd actually been making Doomsday Deferred since 2018, but I kept having to stop. And I was collecting tracks. I said, as I looked at it all, I was like, this is turning into a very studio album rather than the first album where I literally recorded it live in a warehouse. And I went, which I knew that I was going to do the next one more studio, but still it was definitely turning into studio. And then my drummer, or the person I wanted to be the drummer, was only was able to record 3 songs, and then for whatever reasons related to the COVID times, he was no longer going to come. So I ended up finishing the album using I ended up with 5 different drummers if you include myself. I'm not a drummer, but I became one in isolation because there wasn't one.
Wow.
Yeah, there's one song that I was proud of it too. There's one song on the new album called it's Indiscriminate. Yeah, okay. There's a song coming out. It'll be the 3rd single. I'm the drummer on it. I did the whole drum track. I sat down and actually ran the session and actually went back to the drums and sat down and played my own drum track with nobody else playing with me.
I didn't do too many takes either. I had it pretty well down.
So that was cool. And then there were 2 other drum tracks that just simply weren't finished. I had to come in and add a couple of things that just weren't there. So there's one song called By the Blood of Mars that there's 2 drummers on it. And what it is he never finished a full track. So I had to come in and
I gave up on trying to recreate it. It ended up having sections to it. So he's playing, I'm playing along with him. At one point, there's a timbali solo. That's me while he's playing. At the end, I just could not play what he's playing, so I had to recreate it using a whole different set of rules. It just wasn't gonna. So it ended up being a really weird song.
That's cool, man.
But I kind of think it's
cool because it was so odd and unusual.
Oh yeah. I can't wait to hear it, man, for sure. I got to ask you, man, I love the artwork on this record, too, man. I can't wait to see it on the vinyl record, man.
Oh, my God. I'm fixing to post pictures. Oh, yeah, because yeah, right. I've done the art. I've posted the artwork, but that's like at 600 DPI and whatever like that. But actual photos, I've gotten the samples in. I just got them this week. And I've been taking pictures of them, and I'm about to post them this week. Instead of models and the actual artwork, these are photos of the album cover. So that'll be cool because the models of say the vinyl design, the models look a little different that you get when you make them and configure them while you're making the album. The model picture you come up with doesn't look quite the same as in real life. So I'm fixing to change those out on the on Bandcamp and whatever to where there's the real photos, so people can see what they're actually getting and not just the model of it.
Now, who did the artwork for the record?
Mont. Now, he's also done. I believe he did a mono. Am I right? He did a Monolith cover. I know he did Dayglow Mornings cover for Dead Star, which is also on Black Doomba Records. And I looked at I had about 9 pieces of art I was looking at seriously for the cover, and he was the last one actually that I looked at. And when I found that one, I was like, that's what I'm talking about right there. I wanted everything green. I wanted everything to have this sort of a surrealistic feel to it. I wanted everything to be have a nature feel to it. I'm doing 4 videos for the album, 4 different songs, and all 4 of them touch a different element of nature. The first one, Shadow in the Well, was earth. The second one that's going to come out in about a month is fire, and then from there, water and air.
Hell yeah. Can you tell us about Black Doomba Records? Like, how did you start the label, and like how did that all come about?
When I started Dyerwulf, I sent my stuff out to several labels, and frankly, no one answered me except for one person, and they said, "We're too busy to talk right now. I'll talk to you next week," and then they never did. So I went, you know what? I know how to do this. I've been in music since the late 70s. And I said, how was he my first band? I go, I've been on labels. I know how to do this. I really just don't want to do it because it's a lot of work. There's a lot of tax stuff involved. It's a whole big learning thing. And, and I said, but on the other hand, if I want to put this stuff out, and I am getting older, and I thought, I could probably do a lot of stuff for other bands. And I started messing around with the ideas of well, what could I do that would be a little bit different, that would have a niche and whatever. And I said, okay. And then I started getting interested in doing it. I laid out and said, okay, what we're going to do here, we got to straighten this out, a model of it. I can start it out by taking a couple of old albums of mine and just seeing if I can get the right to distribute or whatever like that. So I can distribute a couple things, reach out to a couple of friends who have back copies. I bought a few copies of a Doomstress album, and I was a fan of the band Gallow God from England. I bought some of their back copies, and just to have stuff to start the label, just to have stuff.
Mm-hmm.
These were things I all liked. So I went, okay, it's not about what you like necessarily. I went, but that's what we're going to start with. And it is kind of about that. So turns out. So I started it with that. And so I guess I could say I really started it for lack of anybody signing my band. And I went, okay, I'll sign me.
Yeah.
I'll sign me, damn it. But like I said, what became weird about it is that now you start working on your album, but you're working with other people, and you got to work on their albums because you want to lift them up. I started having this sort of a goal of, I'm here to enhance other artists. I started saying, okay, this is what I'm talking about getting older. You start thinking, I've kind of done my thing. I've made my mark. It's nice that I'm making more music, and I will till the day I can't. I'll always make my own music too. But I started thinking, it's that time when you start thinking more about like legacy. What have you really done for the arts? And, look, I could be a patron of these other bands and help them and with the mistakes I've already made. And I could stop, help them through that. I've already made them. Do this. This is how you do it. Oh, what you're about to do, don't do that. But I just saved you 3 years. So, so I started, I decided it didn't look like there was anything that was specifically Doom going on. I love the whole Doom thing. I was a fan of it, starting with Black Sabbath in 1969. So it's not like it hasn't been around. It just wasn't called Doom. But the long, slow thing of it was happening. So I decided to make a specifically Doom label. I'll tell you that's weird too later. But I said what I could do is I could get bands that are within, this is what I concentrate on. I try to get bands that are basically in the eastern half of the U.S., not so much other places, because I want them to interact with each other and swap gigs. I want to help them connect with each other. And when I'm sharing their posts, I not only share their posts, I've gotten a great bunch of people here who, and I talked to all of them about it before I signed it, that they share each other's posts in social media, that they help each other, they gig swap, like I said. They're all within 12 to 16-hour drives of each other, so it's possible they can all get each other's shows. The ones who can travel a little out of state, they're kind of stuck doing that, but we can go to them. And the ones who can really travel out of state, such as Grave Next Door or myself, we're basically hopping, those are the bands we call and go, hey, can you get something for me in Raleigh, Charlotte? Let's do gigs together, me and you. This is Holy Roller I'm talking about. So we have new active bands right now. I have, while I'm saying that, new active bands right now, I have Grave Next Door from Michigan, Minerva from South Carolina, Holy Roller from North Carolina, and Grave Huffer from Missouri. They're not really new with me, but I mean, these are active right this minute, actively all working on new albums. And they all are willing to play out of state some, but, sometimes within their 5-state area, I have to consider that. So basically we can all hop to each other's places and help each other have shows and, in effect, tour or some type of touring. And that's part of what I want to do in the label, is interact these bands to help each other.
Man.
And basically keep it doom metal because they are going to be playing together, and I am trying to do this one thing, and so when people come to a band camp for Black Doomba, they know there's going to be Doom there. The one band that was a little bit standout from all that was Grave Huffer. I was just listening to Grave Huffer when you were playing them. I love Sights to the Sky. Chewy from Voivod's playing on it, and it sounds so Voivod in style. And then you went on to Ghost Dance, and that's awesome. I love Ghost Dance. The more I listen to them, the more I just sit there and go, they're as good as anybody. They're really good. And this is a great album. Grave Huffer, Necro-Eclosion. It's truly a great album. So I was listening to it and just shaking my head going, yep, we got to do that next full album. It's going to happen. So they're working on something. We'll see how it goes. That's up to them.
That was kind of like a similar thing with Robert Pilson from No Slip Records. I remember he was asking me about signing some different bands that maybe were outside of the Doom genre that he was normally accustomed to, and Gravehuffer kept coming up. And I think he listened to him, and it was
so
just,
good.
Yeah.
Well, they were the band that I'm still all Doom, but it's Doom and heavy music basically. I don't want to become a thrash label, so I would actually more than likely turn down most things that are not Doom.
But Gravehuffer was my little side dish.
that is not necessarily Doom. There's some Doom elements, perhaps, but when you think of the other bands on the label. Minerva, Grave Next Door, Holy Road. They don't sound like Gravehuffer a whole lot, although we're on the same bills with each other. My band starts, Tommy Stewart's Dyerwulf starts touring on October the 2nd, and we're booked right through December right now. Some of those shows, about 5 of them, it's us, Grave Next Door, and Gravehuffer. One of them, October 2nd, is in Atlanta. That's Tommy Stewart, Dayglow Morning, and Gravehuffer. At a
place called Sweetwater.
That one, I'm going to have 2 drummers. I'm going to have another drum guy up there, and we're actually video recording the whole thing.
Oh yeah!
So that's sort of a special event. But we're booked all through October, November.
So a lot of those are Gravehuffer, even though they're not quite Doom. It still works with them. We've done lots of shows with them around the country, and it's worked out very well. So I don't know. I can't help it. They're just. How could I not sign them? I called them. At first, I actually declined them, and then I called them back after a little while and said, "Dude, I'm afraid that y'all are going to be the band that I should have. You're the band that got away, and I'm afraid." And I said, "Y'all want to do it? Because I'll really get behind you."
That's cool, man. That is cool. Yeah, and I can totally relate with you about what you're talking about starting your own label to put your stuff out there. Like, that's pretty much, that was sort of my part of my reasoning for starting a radio station was, at the time I was promoting my own record, and I was like, man, all these fucking radio stations want to fucking, I don't know, they kind of pull you around or whatever for this and that, and it's like, man, fuck it, man, let's just start my own, and
I'll just do my own damn station.
Play it whenever I want to, and I can bring everybody else in, and we can share each
Well, you start having your own ideas about it, and eventually you get down to a corner where you go, I would see bands like the ones I've signed and go, why aren't these guys signed? Why aren't these guys signed?
Exactly.
Why aren't they playing shows together? It seemed like there was this loose-knit... it seemed like nobody was organizing this, and it could be better for everybody if it was a little more organized and they all worked together as sort of a... Well, it takes me back to Warriors. Can you dig it? You got all your little pieces of turf, and I'm like, well, what if you became all one big unit?
Right.
And we're working together, because it didn't seem like to me there was a Doom label that was calling itself Doom in the whole eastern half of the U.S., at least in the southeastern part of the U.S., that was saying, I'm a Doom label, that's what I do, and let's organize these bands and get them to play shows with each other and put out records together. And but I'm sure it was the same for the radio station, because now you got your own deal.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll do it. How many bands have you heard say the reason I started my band is because I wanted to hear the album that I would have made, or something like that?
Exactly.
I always wanted to hear a band sound like this, so I made one like that.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the first things, like back in the dim and distant past in the 70s, you would have heard the guys in Kiss say that. We put together a band we wanted to see.
For sure, man. I got some questions for you, Tommy, coming in from the listeners, man. Let me see.
Oh, let's check it out.
Lady Red wants to know, what do you prefer, blood baths, bubble baths, or showers?
Oh, dear. Well, I'm a shower guy, because I like to get in there and get to work. I like to get in there and get to work and get cleaned up and get out of there.
Oh, yeah.
I got stuff to do.
The next question, Mike from Gravehuffer wants to know, why do you keep a decibel meter on your mic stand?
Yeah, I do. That's because wherever I'm standing, to get to get the sound that I want from the speaker cabinets, it needs to be about 100 decibels right where I'm standing. It can be, and it's going to fluctuate. Those meters fluctuate a little bit. So 96 to about 100 or whatever. That's where it needs to be for me to actually get that sound, and that needs to happen at my mic stand. And the other reason, he probably is trying to get me to say this. The other reason is because when the sound men come over, the house sound guy comes over and tells me I'm too loud and whatever, I go, look, I'm exactly the same loudness every freaking day. How loud do you think I am? Because I actually have a tool here that tells me how loud I am, and that's what I'm set to every day. So it gives me a way to argue with people too.
There you go.
But I just prefer to play right at that decibel reading for where I stand. I mean, it doesn't matter to me if it's 8 feet away from and I usually pull the cabinets up close to me too. They're not at the back. I prefer for the drummer to pull all his stuff up to the front of the stage on the left of me, and then I'm all the way up, and the cabinets be only about 8 feet behind me. That's what I like. I don't care. I'm not running around the stage. I'm not Angus Young.
All right, next question. Cameron Landers from Rock and Roll Villain Society wants to know, what is the first album you ever bought?
Man, this goes back. This shows my years here. The first record I ever bought with my own money was the soundtrack to the Beatles movie Help. I was 7 years old, and that was a new record. Everybody else has cool stuff to say, like Deep Purple or even, something like Slipknot or what, something in the 80s and 90s. My first records were in the 60s because I've been around a while. Same thing with first shows. I'm like, do I tell them? Because my first shows were like the Grassroots. And I saw Jerry Lee Lewis when I was a little kid, and Elvis twice.
Oh yeah.
My first actual heavy show that was a true heavy music show was Deep Purple on the Machine Head tour. Machine Head was a brand new album. Smoke in the Water was a brand new song. That was the first actual heavy show I ever saw. But yeah, the Beatles album Help, and to this day I still listen to the Beatles. I love them.
Hell yeah, dude. Hey, man, that's cooler than mine, man. My first record was Slippery When Wet.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Everybody's got some different ones.
That was
yeah, I remember those times too. Was it kind of new when it came out?
Yeah, that was the first show that I went to see too, man. Fucking
that was a huge album. People just might not. It wasn't that crazy then. It was sort of like everybody had that album. Everybody had it. People who didn't want it had it. It was just there. It was a big album. I didn't have it.
Yeah. Hey, it wasn't.
But I'll admit I did like a song or two from it. There were a couple I used to sing along with in the radio if it came on in the car, and I never listened to radio. But back then I did a little bit, and when one of those would come on, we might sing along with it a little bit.
Hell yeah. Next question, Secret Weapon wants to know, have you ever had any tech disasters while on stage?
Oh, yes. God, some of the worst. Oh, my God. What do? Nothing. You get to suck. So we're headlining. I think one of the worst was we're headlining at Keep It True Festival, co-headlining with Hellstar. It's 2,300 people in an indoor soccer field. We in Königshaven, I believe is the town in Germany. 2,300 people. We go on stage, and one thing after the other start happening. But the worst thing was that during the first two songs, we had no monitors whatsoever. I tried to walk over to another guy's. Mine went out, and I was the lead singer for Hallow's Eve at that moment. So I walked over to my guitarist, Mike, and tried to sing it. His was out too. So I'm walking on the stage and pointing at it. The tech guys who are not with us, they're with the festival. They're shrugging at me, and I'm pointing frantically at the. It was terrible, and the first two. Oh, it was terrible. It was just awful. So, and you know what? I'm used to playing with the monitors out, or not even having them in clubs. I'm used to it. I know how to do it. It's not really a thing to me. But on a big stage, when you run out of monitors, you really can't hear. You can't hear the other guys either. I was having to walk back to the drummer and see. I would have to visually see how he's hitting his snare to know whether I'm on time with him, because I sure couldn't hear him. So, that was one of the worst ones. I've had other ones too, like string break and the spare bass is nowhere to be found and somewhere backstage. You got to leave, and drummer goes into a drum solo for 6 minutes, and you only had 30 minutes to play, stuff like that.
Hell yeah. He also wants to know who gets the most Father's Day cards after all them years of touring.
What the fuck? Yeah, that's a good question. Who recognized their dad once they shave their beards? Let's see. I don't know. I think we all had the same amount of kids. You mean like kids we didn't know about? Okay. Nah, I probably got I have pretty cool kids, and they're really nice to me on Father's Day, and they give me cards and stuff like that. I can't really ask for the other ones. I can tell you this though, all the guys. This is a weird little piece of trivia. All the guys who were in Hallows Eve eventually married people who were. All the women are named Laura. All our wives are named Laura.
Oh shit!
Yeah, isn't that weird? There was no plan on that. It just fell that way. One's Lara, one's Laura. But yeah, we all married Lauras. I think we all had the same amount of kids too.
Do you have any crazy stories from the road, like with people that you've met and stuff like that, backstage or anything like that?
Can't think of any. I've met a whole lot of people that I like to listen to. And they're usually pretty awesome, or you don't get to talk to them very much because you're working, you're moving equipment or whatever. You just talk to them in passing.
Mike was telling me earlier that you toured with people like Motorhead and shit like that.
Yeah, the Motorhead show that was the one that stood out that was a big story was we played with them at Chalmette Civic Center. Believe it was 1987 or 86. It was like, anyway, it was way back. But we were playing with them, and it was Agnostic Front, Hallows Eve, and Motorhead. Later, I got told by Phil. I was at this thing called Days of the Dead, and Phil was there doing a table where you go up and sign autographs. So I started talking to Phil about that night. He was there. The guys in Pantera were there in the audience, and he said, "Yeah, we were kind of just starting out, and he goes, we saw that shit. We were there. Hell yeah, Hell's Eve." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So, but they ended up having a riot. Somebody came up about the fourth and fifth song. They were able to reach up and grab Lemmy's mic stand, and they shoved the mic into his mouth. And he was pretty indignant about it. He stopped the song and said, "Look, I just got my teeth done." And if you remember way back, he did have some pretty bad teeth. He said, "I just got my teeth done." He goes, if that shit happens again, show's over." So they started into the next song, and I believe it was the Doctor one. Anyway, they started in the next song, and sure enough, like not 60 seconds into the song, all of a sudden it was bam, they stopped playing, he stomped off, and the place went crazy, and there was a riot, and cops came in. There were like 22 cop cars or whatever. They pulled me through the audience, threw me in the van with Stacy. We didn't even know where the other guys, one of our road guys, he like the driver was at the front of the van with it, gunning it, and it's at the back, and they threw me and Stacy in the thing. The door was still open when he took off. We were like bouncing around going, shut the door, and trying to grab it without falling out. He's hitting every speed bump going out there. Bricks were flying from people in the parking lot. We're throwing bricks at the buses and everything, and I don't know. We were just getting the hell out of there. And we got back to the motel room, and the news was there. We turned on the TV. We weren't even looking for it. We just happened to turn on the TV and flipping around. Then we saw oh, we're showing at Civic Center. And I was like, God, we were just there. Oh my God. So that was metal for sure there. But I was sad because they didn't finish their show, and it was one of the best. It only played like 5.5 songs. It was like one of the best Motorhead shows I ever saw. And the song later that's on the Monument album called The Mighty Decibel, I wrote that song about the feeling of standing there. I went out in the audience for that Motorhead show, and it was so loud. And I remember standing there and thinking it's like a rod of sound piercing my brain. And that's one of the lines I wrote into The Mighty Decibel. I wrote The Mighty Decibel about that show, about seeing Motorhead.
Hell yeah.
So that was awesome. I mean, we saw him and played more shows with him here and there that during the Orgasmatron tour, but that particular show was the one that stood out to me, and it was short. And I've stood right up front at other shows. It just, that particular one was like it was another world. Anyway, I could go on about it. It was just really good.
So what's coming up next for Black Doomba Records, man?
Yeah, right. I've got, you said I've got my, we got Grave Next Door, Minerva, Holy Roller, and Grave Huffer are all working on albums right now. So right now, what I do is I keep the roster I've got about, what do you got? I got 5 active bands, if you include me. No, there's Dayglow Morning also, but they're probably, I'm not sure what they're doing. They're probably, they haven't indicated that they're going in the studio anytime soon or anything. So there's 6 active bands right now. And so what I try to do is keep just enough bands to where I can rotate and do like 3-month campaigns for each one and really hone down on promo and do a whole 3-month pre-sale promo campaign thing for each one that I'm laser beam focused on promoting their album. And so to do that, I try not to overlap them too much, which means I keep a small roster. I turn down a lot of people. So right now, just because there's already enough bands. So those are coming out, and right now it just happens to be my turn. I hate it too, because I go on and it's like all the Black Doomba talk right now online is Tommy Stewart this, Tommy Stewart that, and I go, well, I'm sorry, it's my turn. I get a turn every now and then.
Hey.
I mean, I feel kind of bad about it, but I make sure to rotate. So whatever the other guys are doing, I try to keep that up too. So like Grave Next Door is awesome about doing a lot of posts about what they're doing. We're doing a new photo shoot today. Today this happened. I share a good bit of that stuff. So anything the bands are doing right now, I try to share it or I try to find things. And most of them have videos too I can share. So I'll try to have something up every day, at least one thing, if not 2 or 3 or 4. And I try to rotate the bands. Like, what are you up to? I check each one of them every day and go, what are you up to? What are you up to? What can I talk about? So I make sure they're all out there. What's coming other than that? And then Tommy Stewart's Dyerwulf, what I got. You can find the pre-release for that specifically at Bandcamp because I don't run it anywhere else, just at Bandcamp. So the Black Doomba Bandcamp has the Tommy Stewart's Dyerwulf Doomsday Deferred stuff. There's 2 variants. Both of them are some kind of green. But one's what they call a galaxy variant. It's sort of an explosive sun-looking thing. I call it Rotting Sun green. And the other one's called Black Smoke or Green Smoke. Black Smoke. Yeah, it's green with black smoke on it. There's 2 variants. There's CDs. There's shirts specific to the album. And I've got bundles of those. Real good prices on those. You can do an everything price. Oh, check this out. So if you get the one called Rotting Sun, a 7-inch glow-in-the-dark single of Shadow in the Well, backed with Lilith Crimson Deep from the first album, comes with that album. It's $22.
Hell yeah. So
you get a single with it. The other one, when you get the Black Smoke one, is okay, the one that comes with the single, that's 180 grams. The one that comes with the this Black Smoke, that's not 180 grams. It's closer to 140 grams. Just wait, it's something like 144 grams or something. It's 140 grams, but it comes with a whole nother EP of 4 songs. that's 45. As a matter of fact, those are the 4 outtake songs from the sessions for Doomsday Deferred that didn't make it onto the album. So no matter which album you get, you're really getting 2 things. Plus, you get posters, and you get a poster, you get a stick. Well, the first either 50 or 100 get a poster. There's stickers. The first 13, I think, get a slip mat with it. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool package.
Fuck yeah, dude! You can't beat that shit, man.
No, and the first, I think, 6 are actually getting a coffee cup with it too. You lucky. Yeah, I didn't even say nothing about that. You're just going to get one.
Well, I got mine pre-ordered, dude. I can't wait to see it, man.
I know it. You, I know you do. That's why I was going. He's going to really like what's coming. Posters and the single. You got the one with the single.
Hell yeah.
There's also a new video I just got through working on. There's another one about to come out for a song called Two Trog Yomp. What does that mean? I don't know. I've been trying to decide that myself. Anyway, the name of the song is Two Trog Yomp. It's one of my favorite songs to play live because I get to do during the song I hit a looper and I record some stuff while I'm playing, and then I come out of it and I do a whole big lead thing over it with an octaver, if you know how that sounds on a bass. I clean it up, I take the distortion out and play through the whole thing with an octaver doing the lead, and then I come back out of it and we go into the third verse and finish the song. So I really enjoy playing it live because I get to do a full-on lead. So it's awesome. And this whole album, as a matter of fact, has a little bit more lead on it. That was something that's been said to me about the past Dyerwulf stuff, is they go, it's just songs. There's no... Well, one person in particular said to me, who is another bass player that I admire, and she said, I was expecting more bass. And when she said it, I thought about it for a minute. I went, oh, I know what you mean. I said, yeah, instead of just the chords and singing. Yeah. Okay, next album. Yeah, I kind of agree. It was in the back of my head. And I went, yeah, we're trying to work in a little bit more lead time in it. So this new album has a little bit more of that in it. And then we're touring in the fall, starting October 2nd. But we're gonna take dates all the way through 2023. Right now we're booked up October and November. December dates are open, so anybody that's a promoter that's interested, we have the first 3 weekends in December are open. We start from there and then add weekdates. Some of the dates actually have Patrick Salerno playing drums from Grave Next Door. A lot of the Grave Next Door dates, he's playing in both bands. It was convenient because he's there. I said, okay, all right. So I'll be riding in the SU. I'll be riding by myself. How's that for? I won't have to talk to anybody. So, but some of the other dates will also be Dennis Reed. We're playing at Maryland Doom Fest, the Halloween week. We're playing on Saturday at 9:40, and Dennis Reed will be playing that one with me. I don't know if you know about Maryland Doom Fest, but it's a 4-day festival in Frederick, Maryland. And Black Doomba is a sponsor of it, and I'm there vending, and I bring all the band's stuff there to get. Also, Gravehuffer is playing at it. So we've got two Black Doomba bands there.
That is so badass, dude.
I know, I can't wait to be there. I know, and it's on Halloween. So it's going to be kind of weird to be in. Halloween before last was really weird. We played with Gravehuffer at their hometown, Joplin, Missouri. But the fun thing for us is we stayed at, me and Dennis stayed at, there they have the Bonnie and Clyde Hideout. It's not an Airbnb thing, but it's something like that. So we stayed there. We actually rented, it's in the movie where they bust out, they're being shot up, the cops surrounded the place, and they all got shot a little bit, and one or two of them died from it and everything. That's the place. This is the garage they busted out of. You can go there and stay, and there's a couple of bullet holes in the walls still, and some of the furniture's the same, the bathtub's the same. That's where we stayed on Halloween night 2 years ago. You did this.
That is fucking cool, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. We were and took pictures at 3 a.m. going, wonder if we can see any ghosts or anything. So we can do that. Also this year, Hallows Eve. Hallows Eve's Tales of Terror, the remastered version, was released, I believe, in January. It was 5 different variants on vinyl. It's on Metal Blade, of course. And I worked up, for the CD, I worked up about 4 bonus tracks, live bonus tracks for my collection. And just poured through tape. And I can tell you there's more coming like that before the end of the year, but I'm not supposed to say what and when. But, I mean, we only had 3 albums. What do you think? So we had, so there's more stuff coming. I've been pouring over Hallows Eve bonus, well, not bonus tracks, but I mean, I have tons of live tapes, and they're tapes, CDs, board tapes, whatever. I've been pouring over, trying to find stuff that was, most of it's muddy, but some of it's workable if you don't mind that it sounds like a board tape.
Hell yeah.
So some of that's coming out too. And I got a deal struck up with Season of Mist. If you go to Season of Mist and search Hallows Eve, they've got shirts, hoodies, tank tops. You can get all kinds of different stuff I don't have, because I don't have that stuff. People are always asking me for shirts, and I go, I can't. There's behind the scenes reasons why I can't make them. But I said, but you can go to Season of Mist and they make them, okay? And that's the one that's official from us, that they have sent us the designs, we've approved them. I actually sent my old tour shirt from 1985, 86, and 88 for the Monument one. I actually had one copy of each. I sent them, and they reproduced them as close as possible to what they were. On the back it says, like, Tour of Terror 85 and whatever, just like ours did. So they got those.
That is cool, man. All right, well, Tommy, I'm about out of questions for you. Is there anything else you want to let the people know?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry if I dissed anybody. I tend to talk. I'm passionate, and I love what I do, and I'll really talk about it. So you can ask me 4 questions, and I'll take off. No, I guess that's about it for me too, unless we want to talk about more gardening or anything.
Hell yeah.
My fig trees and stuff like that.
Well, dude, I thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, man.
No, thank you. Thank you for letting me get on talk. I'm surprised anybody want to hear anything I've got to say.
Hell yeah,
but I'll sure tell about it if anybody wants to hear it.
Shit. Before I let you go, can I get you to make us a station tag, man?
Yes, sir.
All right, whenever you're ready, say something like, "This is Tommy from Black Doomba Records," whatever else you want to add in there, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
This is Tommy Stewart from Black Doomba Records, Hallows Eve, Tommy Stewart's Dyerwulf, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.com.
Fuck yeah. All right, dude. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna blast some more fucking bands from Black Doomba Records for these motherfuckers, so they can go crazy.
Man, I appreciate it. You got the Dayglow?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. That Dayglow, they're just the poster child for Doom. They just sound so good. I can't wait till they make another one.
Hell yeah, dude. I got it all coming up, man.
Cool, man. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, dude. Anytime, man.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
All right, we'll talk to you later, Tommy. There you have it, folks. Tommy Stewart from Black Doomba Records, live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation fucking Radio. Man, like I said earlier, put your speakers every fucking where, dude. If you don't fucking see U-Haul trucks parked down your street tomorrow, you're not cranking it up loud enough, or you got a bunch of fucking metalheads living next to you. I don't know, but you gotta crank it the fuck up. Serious.